Welcome to Frankie's Motor Pharmacy. Today we've got a little project on our hands with the tiny car, the Isuzu Vehicross. Notorious problem with the window regulators, and I've fixed this one about 2 or 3 times already, and as we can see, it's having another issue. So what I think happened is the cable on the window regulator jumped its spool and it's not connected to anything anymore. So we're going to take it apart, check it out. It's a notorious problem. Maybe we'll fix it. Maybe we'll have to buy a new one. Let's see. So here's our old Isuzu door, and obviously it's got the notorious broken door handle. It used to be duct taped on, but it's not anymore. I'd love to replace it, but you can't find them. So let's tear into it. Maybe I'll take you in here and we'll check it out a little bit closer. All right, so it's pretty simple to get this door apart. We've got one screw here, we've got one screw here, and 2 screws back here. They're all Phillips head, and then you just pop it out with the standard plastic clips that go around the rim of the door. Once we get in there, we'll be able to check out the window, see what's going on. Let's get you back on your stand, and we'll start working. And maybe we'll bring you in a little bit closer. First we pull this off, disconnect the switch. Probably would have been better if I just grabbed the power drill. And a little Makita impact. But the manual screwdriver is doing just fine. This is, might add, non-factory option that fit really well. It's a Focal little speaker pod, and I've got a Focal in there as well. But a lot of people like to ask about it because it fits so well with the factory original door pod, I suppose. All right, all our screws are out. And pull this out. And this guy, usually just let it hang there until I pull the door panel off, and we'll weasel it through. Pop the plastic tabs and lift up. Now it's free. Slide it back a little bit, and you can get this door handle off like that. We're exposed. We'll put this off over here. Now, let's bring you in for a closer look. You can see, yep, there's the cable. And the drum should be right back there. It looks like it's still on the drum, so it probably, yeah, I don't feel the cable down here, so it definitely jumped the track at the bottom here, or jumped its guide. So we'll get this taken out and put back on the guide, so it should be able to fix it. I'll bring it down here. Oh, in fact, here's the other side of the cable. I'll show this little modification first real quick. These are notorious for breaking a guide here that would normally hold it onto the track. Well, I drilled a small hole and replaced it with a rolling shower door wheel. plastic, it's low wear, but it's a nice little bearing inside that if I can get a hold of the window, I can show you. We'll ride right up and down fairly smoothly, and it keeps it on track fairly well. And I've done this to both windows. This one definitely worked better before it broke. Worked better than the driver's side window, which I did the same thing to. The driver's side window still gets its tilt, which these regulators are notorious for making the window tilt and binding up. So let's get this unbolted here. We'll unbolt the glass, and the glass will pull out from the top, and then we can take out this regulator. 2 bolts here, 2 bolts there, 3 bolts here. That'll pull the motor, and we'll be able to inspect it more and maybe get it back on track. Let's get to it. Some of you might notice that the mounting surface for this window does not look factory by any means, and once I get this out, I can show you it's actually an aftermarket upgrade that's pretty common. I can't remember the name of the guy's website right now. I think it's Street Boutiques or something, but it's a pretty common change that people do to these cars because of the window problems. Kind of just helps with rigidity and keeps it centered, keeps it from tilting more or less, which that's one of the biggest issues is when these windows tilt, they bind up, cause problems, and they can break the wire like this one did, where it's jump out of the guides. I'll try my best not to break my glass. I've already dealt with that once. As you can imagine, pretty difficult to get glass for these old cars that very few were ever imported. So when I had to get glass for the driver's side, it took 8 months, and it came directly from Japan. I'm surprised they actually still had them in stock, but it was nice because I didn't have to deal with it. I have this car insured with full glass, 0 deductible, so I got a free piece of glass. Just took 8 months to get it. I'd rather not wait 8 months to get new glass. That would be less than ideal, but I made do at the time. The first thing I did when I accidentally shattered the window was went down to Home Depot and got some plexiglass, cut it into the shape of the window, and stuffed it in place. And it worked for 8 months. I just couldn't roll it down. So let's show you right here. That's our Street Boutiques steel window holder that I epoxied into place, and it's been holding on for about 3 or 4 years now. So it's a nice little upgrade that keeps it a little bit more stable. I'm gonna go put this somewhere safe so that we don't have another incident. Well, I was going to use this Phillips head, but it looks like this one's already stripped out, probably by me. So, I think I got it right. Nope, that's not the right size either. Probably a 10mm, so I'm gonna spend the next hour looking for one, because I'm sure the gremlins already stole it. Alright, 10mm. Found it. Well, let's get this regulator out. I've had a lot of problems with these, specifically the regulator kind of stripping out. It's got these pressed threaded steel threads in it that seem pretty weak. Now, before I can get all this out, there's going to be a connector on the motor. I'm just going to go over, disconnect it. It's actually this little push pin there, plastic push tab, which I need some pliers for. Got my trusty port shipping tools, if you get that reference. Now we've got the connector out. Just a regular push tab comes out. Now we've got the keyhole dropping out there. We should be able to get it out through here. Let's take a look at it. So obviously it's already kind of screwy. It fell apart. So it looks like it just jumped out of its track. We're not broken here, so we should just be able to slip this back in and put it back together, put it back on its guide here. That top guide looks fine. So we'll get this back together real quick, put it back together, and it should all work fine. Ah, I wouldn't be so lucky. So I just noticed that it definitely jumped its spool here. You see all the cables are bound up. So I'm gonna see if I can pull one of these cables and get it to get back on its spool. I don't know if you can see that in there. This cable did get kinked once before, so the kink is definitely not helping anyone out. I think these spools are pressed in. I can pull the motor out, but I know the motor has a little triangular drive that goes into the spool where the cable is. So I'm gonna fight with it a little bit and see if I can get this spool tightened back up without taking it apart yet. To get some slack out of it. These cables are crossed. Yeah, this one actually jumped off and it got wedged in between the metal there. I'm going to pull this motor off, and then I should be able to put a tool in the back of this and be able to rotate it by hand. I might be able to spin this spool around and get get the cable back onto the spool. Alright, here's the motor, kind of this three-pronged drive. I thought it was a triangle, but that might be a different model. That's the drive for the motor. Took that out. Now we can get to the spool. Might have to grab a large flathead, or actually a large Allen might fit in there. So I'm going to take this into the garage real quick and find a tool that will be able to spin that around and get this spooled back up. Let's tilt you down a little bit. Get back. Sitting on my blue bucket. Got a it's a 3/8 Allen. It's a pretty decent fit in there. I can spin it around some. Oof. Bring it a little closer. Already can see this definitely tried to jump out of its slot, got kind of bound up. I might have to replace this regulator, but I'm gonna get it to work first. And at least I'll have an operable window for the time being. Oh, that's unfortunate. So you can see this cable got really bound up, kind of smashed in there. See if I can kind of pull it tight and rewind it a little bit.
Maybe get it back.
I'm kind of going back into shape a little bit here. Now if we pull the slack out of this one, we're almost there. It's winding back up. And the biggest issue is where it jumped, and we're about to come back around this gap here, so let's see if it'll self-align. Quite. Got my fat fingers in the way. You probably can't see this, but trying to force it back into its. There it is. Okay, we got it forced back into its track. We're looking pretty good here. Let's get this one. Slide it in like that. Got our little crisscross. Cable's back on its spools. Let's pause you for 1 second. We're back, and Bonelli has joined us. She's supervising. Here she is. Bonelli! Oh, hi, stupid. Just kidding. She's smart. She's very smart. And my lovely wife, Melissa, is here. Okay.
I don't want to be in.
She doesn't want to be in.
I'm half naked.
She's half naked.
You want to get more views?
All the views. We're leaving that part in.
OnlyFans.
That's, yeah. That's what I should go into. What? Anyway, we got this cable re-spooled, and now we just gotta loop it over the corner here. Pull it up tight. And you can see it's kind of coiled up there. That's from unspooling itself in the first place. But, there we go. Tighten it in. Wow, I did this like 30 seconds ago and it worked fine. And then I took it apart to show the camera. Because I'm a fool. where my slack came from. Let's try that again. Oh, I can't seem to pull this tight enough to get that on there. So, I think that kinked wire that was inside the spool, I'm going to expose that and maybe try to get some more slack out of it. We lost about a quarter inch there, so that might be what we need.
Give me.
Oh, I got it.
Good job.
Got it. Locked in. So, now if we take it, let's see, goes up, rather that's down, goes down, goes back up. I think we want this slightly down like that. Okay, now we'll put the motor back on.
Sorry.
Chip for door. Almost done. All right, let's test it, see if it works. Moment of truth. It would help if I actually plugged it in. All right.
Oh my god.
Looks like it works. I'm a little worried about it because that cable was so tore up on the spool. So what I'll probably do is throw some silicone lubricant on it and hope for the best, and I'll have one ordered. All right, we've got the WD-40 Specialist silicone lubricant. Spray it on some of the cables and then run it up and down. All right, it looks like we're going up and down smoothly. Doesn't sound too good, but that's just what it's gonna sound like until I get a new regulator for it. So now we'll throw the door panel back on and call it good for the day. All back together. Lock you down there. And so that's all she wrote with the tiny car. We've got the window fixed up, and hopefully it'll last a little bit longer before the new regulator comes in. Thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe, the like button. I'll have more content coming out. I've got hundreds of projects and not a lot of time to do them, so I'll try to videotape what I can. The next project on the block is the Excursion, getting the new engine. I've got the video in the works for that. If you want to see that, subscribe and hit the notifications. It'll pop up eventually. Thanks for watching.